Hey everybody, check it out. What's up? It's Hercules Porsche's professional intro. Yay!
More footage from the last day of Dust. Hey, what is up, everybody? Look at that scoreboard. We got some Prima Gallicus, Fatal Absolution on the other side, War Ravens. So, I mean, we're not up against scrubs. Well, I mean, maybe the War Ravens are scrubs. I don't know. Oh, no, they're not scrubs. I kid the War Ravens. I kid you. I kid. Anyway, are you guys taking notes? Are you guys observing the little psychological thingy-mabobber doo-hop that I'm trying to implement in this here video? I'm building hype, people. I am building hype. I am trying to get all the people who are observing what I am doing here excited for what is about to transpire. It might be a little difficult when we're just at a dropship that was stalled, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there, people. Look, I am not talking about this for no reason. I am talking very seriously about what needs to start happening with CCP Shanghai, because we have had one of the worst things for hype building that any game can do. We've had silence. We don't know what is going on with Project Nova. We have had not a peep since FanFest 2016. Nothing really on Frame's Twitter or the Dust 5 and 4 Facebook, or nothing. There's nothing for biomass to report. We haven't had hype. We haven't. We don't know what's going on. And just ignore the fact that one of the first things I did in this game was just like die. Okay, just ignore that. Just believe that what is gonna happen next is gonna surpass how things began. Okay, that's more tying into the theme type talk. Blah. Yeah, you can tell I don't put a lot of effort into planning out these videos. Okay, very professional here at the Hercules Sports YouTube channel. Look, I may not be the most eloquent fella, but you can sense it, can't you? The energy, the excitement, the fun. That's what we have here. And that's what needs to happen at CCP Shanghai. Like, really bad. Okay, so I'm going to do a little recap in case A, people don't know what's going on, or B, they just trust me, okay? There's going to be a recap that's going to happen right now for reasons. There are reasons for the recap, which will become self-evident. Okay, first of all, it was decided at one point that supporting EVE FPS shooters for the PS3 was not the direction that CCP wanted to go anymore. And so Project Legion was announced. And it was handled very badly. It pissed off the way it was done. It pissed off a lot of players, and it basically caused a mass exodus of players from the Dust 514 community. Now let's move on from there, because I wanna reflect on the happier times. So yes, Legion was announced. We didn't. All we knew was that Dust was gonna be done at some point, and we had no idea what was in its future. Now, Dust didn't die right away. There were little patches and things, and even a couple maps that were added to the game after the Legion announcement. But the direction had been set, not gracefully, not with very good marketing savvy, but the direction had been set. The future of EVE Online FPS was going to be on PC. That was pretty much established. Now, let's fast forward to, I don't know, let's say a year later. From one awful FanFest choice to a slightly less awful FanFest choice. And Legion is done. That name has been taken possibly by a Blizzard product, or maybe they just got sick of hearing the word Legion. I don't know. Legion's no longer a thing. It's 2016. There's been a lot of silence out of the CCP Shanghai studio. Rattati hasn't been seen for a couple months. I'm just setting the stage for 2016 FanFest. And lo and behold, out of the blue, although predicted maybe by a few players, was Project Nova, the playable demo that came at CCP FanFest 2016. And so yeah, we've finally been caught up. We know that they've got something semi-functional created in terms of an EVE Online FPS, and there's cause for happiness, there's cause for cheers, there's cause for celebration, because the future of EVE Online FPS is looking much shinier. And yeah, I am using Firefly lingo. Get used to it. So, following the unveiling of Project Nova, the functional demo, which was captured on video by the likes of Sergeant Kirk and Cavill Longstride, those very helpful fellows to myself. There's only been one solitary thing that's happened, and CCP Rattati posted a set of clarifications. He just sort of cleared up, he posted a few a little bit of information clearing up what we could and couldn't expect from Project Nova, from the game that was going to be called, from that game. He just basically cleared up for us what we could expect in a post on the Dust 514 forums. So, what have we got after the... I covered those clarifications in a previous video, by the way. Okay, so what have we got after those clarifications? We've got nothing. We have Dust 514 dying at the end of May, and then pretty much nothing in the way of updates, folks. We haven't had a screenshot. We haven't had notes. We haven't had movies on YouTube. We haven't had so much as a little tweet about what's going on with Nova. We know nothing. So we had the big unveiling of Project Nova in April, some clarification shortly afterwards, and then nothing. It's been let's see, April showers supposed to bring May flowers, but we didn't get May flowers, or July anything. Okay? So yes, what I'm trying to say here is become pretty self-evident, I think. I'm agitated. I'm agitated by the silence. And I want you guys to understand this is about more than, one gamer digging for something to talk about. Although that is a little bit of it. But yeah, there needs to be some marketing here, people. There needs to be some building of excitement. And I'm sure you guys know. I'm sure anyone who's played any kind of video game in the last 5 years understands the role hype plays in driving sales. And I don't see that there. And of course, I understand it's super early. Project Nova could very likely not even be the final name of this game. I understand it's still super early. But to go 2 months with nary a peep, it just feels excessive. It feels excessive. I'm going to postulate, I am going to guess at what is responsible for some of this psychology. And that's, well, the early days of Dust, there wasn't a shortage of hype, I don't think. maybe some people will disagree with me, but I think as Dust was being built, there was an attempt to build hype for it. There was there were a lot of promises that were made about how it was going to tie into the EVE Online universe, and about how the universes would, have a really deep effect on each other. And fortunately, those promises didn't really come to pass. The two universes were not tied that closely to each other. Of course, there were some mechanics that let people from the EVE Online universe drop orbitals on top of the heads of people in the Dust 514 universe. But other than that, there wasn't really a whole lot that a mercenary could do to affect what was going on in the EVE Online universe. Yes, our faction warfare battles did do something over there, but we couldn't really see it. From our perspective, we couldn't really, feel the impact we were making over there in terms of the faction wars, the Kaldari, Galente, Amar, Mimitar, going at it against each other. And I don't know, something was changing on the star map, but we really couldn't feel it with what we were doing here. So that is how things have played out. That is what has transpired. And I think that last part that I explained to you, the early days of Dust, I think that has, I've offered that piece of information to you in the hopes of trying to explain what I perceive to be CCP Rattati's just like overly cautious nature about, the whole CCP Shanghai studio, really. I mean, Frame's supposed to be their marketing guy. Decisions are being made about what to release, what not to release, how much information to give the players. And I think I do see it in Rattati. I think there's a real fear of... He's a cautious guy. I can tell he's a cautious guy. And I think there's a real fear of, making promises and not being able to deliver it. And I do appreciate that caution. I think that's very good of him to try to make sure he's not putting people in that situation again, where they're hoping for thing X and not getting thing X. I think that's very good of him. I think that's very big of him. But I'm pretty optimistic about the product they're going to build. I think Rattati's done some pretty decent work here in terms of trying to rebalance things and just change the numbers in Dust 514. And I think, based on what the work I've seen him do, I think they're going to create a pretty decent product here with Nova. But these guys, even if Rattati understands how to balance, the weapon balance and how to create better game mechanics, like he really stressed that during his interview. Even if he gets how to change the mechanics that didn't work in Dust and alter them so that they and create something that does work in this next much more quick, fast-paced shooter. Oh, I will miss this, by the way. I will miss getting to drop orbitals on people's heads. This will not be in the next game. But I'm still really looking... I still think that the things that didn't work about Dust were... for every good game you had like this, there were quite a few slow ones. And they're going to change the mechanics of the next game that, in such a way that we can expect a much more fast-paced shooter without any kind of, long periods of, low activity like we might see in a Dust game. So I think that I'm optimistic about the shooter they're building. I'm not optimistic about their ability to build marketing for this next game. And like I said, I've explained to you how everything's played out, why people over at CCP Shanghai might have become super cautious because of their experiences with Dust, but I think they need to start taking some more liberties. I think they need to start taking a few little chances so that people are thinking about what is to come with the next FPS that's going to come from CCP. And I understand with some of the shooters that are out there right now, it might be hard to build a lot of hype right now. But what I'm saying is basically what CCP Shanghai needs to do is just start giving us a little taste. You know, like just little things. Little tweets about what's working, little screenshots, maybe a little clip, maybe a little video clip here and there. I know it's getting ambitious. And like I said, I do understand Rattati's super conservative mindset, and he doesn't want to show us something that he's building, that he's playing with in the game, and then not deliver it in the final product. I understand that. I get that. But, you know, he just needs to do some disclaimers. Just show us what you're playing with, Rattati. Just give us a little taste, is what I'm saying. And so that's my bit of advice number one. My other bit of advice is I'm really concerned about these guys the next time they get in front of a camera. If you guys watch that interview they did at FanFest, I mean, it was well structured. They put all the information they needed to in there. But these guys don't, I mean, these guys need a screen presence. You know, I think when they were handed a microphone, CCP Rattati and CCP Frame both made excellent points about what was going to be in next shooter. Frame went out of his way to make sure to mention that Dust 514 players will be getting some kind of recognition, and like they're not saying what, because they, like I said, they do have that conservative mindset. But I appreciate him doing that, because there probably is some pressure to just like, let's pretend this Dust 514 thing never happened from some people. I say, no, recognize us, remember us, blah. But yeah, they needed to muster more enthusiasm in that interview. I meant to spend more time talking about that, but we're running out of footage here. Look at this, guys. 1.7 million ISK payout. That's one of my biggest payouts in a pub ever. You see that? That's hype. And yeah, going into their future interviews, I hope that Rattati and Frame will have that kind of hype and put that enthusiasm into the product that they're building. And, until next time, I'll see you Starside.